The first time I saw the sign, I thought it was a hallucination born of exhaustion. A sliver of red neon cutting through desert dark, half its tubing dead so the word didn't spell desert in, but des in. 2 syllables, stuttering, broken. The glow buzzed faintly, flickering like the last breath of something that should have been gone long ago. I had been on the road for 10 hours, the highway stretching into nothingness, a black ribbon under a starless sky. My body ached from the drive, eyes grainy, throat raw. Every instinct told me to keep moving, that nothing good waited in a place so quiet the air itself felt frozen. And yet I slowed, the tires crunching over gravel, steering toward the broken sign. Before we begin, make sure to subscribe to the Granny's Whisper channel, where the darkest stories come alive every night. Tell me in the comments, do you listen in complete darkness or do you leave a small light on? And if you've ever felt watched while alone, share your story below. You may not be the only one. The motel crouched low against the desert floor, a single row of rooms, 20 doors in perfect symmetry, all closed, all dark. The office squatted at one end, its window glowing a pale, sickly yellow. The rest was emptiness, the desert stretching flat and endless behind it, a sea of thorns and dust under a moon cut to pieces by clouds. I killed the engine. Silence fell with weight, a silence not peaceful but predatory, as if the desert itself were holding its breath. When I climbed out, the night wrapped around me, heavy, thick, broken only by the hum of the failing neon. The office door creaked as I opened it. A bell gave a half-hearted jingle. The man inside looked like he hadn't moved in years. Gray hair stuck to his forehead, his skin slick with sweat though the room was cold. His shirt sagged from the weight of stains and age. His eyes flicked up once, then slid back to the counter. "Cash only," he rasped before I spoke. His voice scraped like rust. Credit machines broke. I nodded, pulling bills from my wallet. His hand brushed mine when he took them. The skin was clammy, cold, wrong, like touching something kept underground. He slid a brass key across the counter, its number etched deep and tarnished. Room 12. Quiet night. The way he said it wasn't reassurance, it was warning. Room 12 sat at the far end of the row, its curtains drawn, the door paint peeling. Room 11 beside it was the same, no light, no sign of life. I unlocked the door, the key turning too easily, and stepped inside. Air rushed out, thick with old smoke and mildew. The carpet sagged damp beneath my shoes. The bed drooped under a stained comforter. The television in the corner a relic of another century. The bathroom tiles were yellowed, edges chipped and scarred with rings like burns. I dropped my bag on the chair and sank onto the bed, exhaustion drowning instinct. For a moment, I stared at my phone, scrolling through notifications, trying to pretend this was just another cheap room, one night closer to home. That's when I saw it, a hole in the wall, just above the nightstand, the size of a dime. Wallpaper peeling around it like torn skin. I leaned closer, expecting darkness. Instead, I saw it, an eye, bloodshot, unblinking, pressed tight to the hole, staring straight back at me. I jerked away, heart slamming. My arm hit the lamp, sending it crashing to the floor, bulb exploding into shards. Breath tore in and out of me as I grabbed the phone and dialed the number scrawled on the keychain for the front desk. He answered on the third ring. "There's someone in room 11, I hissed. "They're watching through the wall." Silence, then a sigh, heavy, as though I'd inconvenienced him. Room 11's empty. Nobody checked in. I saw an eye, I snapped. Silence again. Then, I'll take a look. I dragged the chair to the door and wedged it beneath the handle, then backed into the corner farthest from the wall, knife drawn from my bag. My hands shook so violently the blade quivered in the dim light. Minutes stretched, each one longer than the last, until finally a knock rattled the door. I crept forward and peered through the peephole. Harlan stood there, the same clerk from the office, his greasy flannel darkened with sweat. He held a flashlight, its beam quivering as though his hand shook. I cracked the door. He slipped inside without a word, his eyes roaming the room until they settled on the hole. He crouched, shining the light into it, and grunted, "I'll check next door." The sound of his boots thudded against the walkway. A key scraped into the lock of room 11, hinges groaned, and then silence. Minutes passed before he reappeared, face blank. "Empty," he said. "I want to see." His shoulders lifted, a tired shrug. He pressed the spare key into my palm. "Lock up when you're done." Room 11 smelled worse. Damp wood, rusted metal, something sour beneath it all. The wallpaper on the far wall bore the same hole, but this side was crudely covered with tape. Yellowed and curling, no luggage, no clothes, no life. Still, I searched. I threw open the closet, bare, checked the bathroom, nothing but mildew in the tub, even bent to look under the bed, only dust and darkness. I almost convinced myself I'd imagined it, almost. Back in my own room, exhaustion wrapped around me like chains. I taped over the hole with shaking fingers and crawled into bed fully clothed, knife still in hand. Sleep came in fragments, jagged and cruel. At some hour past midnight, I woke to the sound of breathing. Not mine, slow, wet, steady. It seeped from the wall where the hole was taped. I clamped my eyes shut. Heart hammering, pretending sleep. The breathing grew louder, then shifted, becoming whisper. At first indistinct, then forming words, my own words, just passing through. My stomach clenched. I pressed the knife harder to my chest. The whispers repeated, mocking, like a recording warped by static. Just passing through, just passing through. I bolted upright, tore the tape off the wall. The hole gaped dark and silent. Nothing. I fell into restless sleep again, only to wake at dawn with eyes burning, skin clammy. When I leaned close, I saw fresh scratches etched deep into the plaster around the hole. Words. Jagged and frantic. "He's watching you. Get out before he mimics. Don't knock back." Below them, names and dates stretching back decades. I stumbled from the room, bag slung over my shoulder, heart rattling. At the office, Harlan sipped coffee from a cracked mug, his expression blank. "Sleep okay?" he asked. "Fine," I lied, dropping the key onto the counter. His gaze flicked to it, then to me, then back. For the first time, his lips twitched, almost a smile. The bell jingled as I fled into the daylight. The highway felt endless, a black vein cutting through the desert. I drove with both hands clenched on the wheel. The motel shrinking in my rear view until it disappeared completely. And yet I couldn't shake the sense that I hadn't escaped anything. The words carved into that wall crawled with me, etched now into the back of my skull. "He's watching you. Don't knock back." At the first gas station, I pulled out my phone and scrolled through the photos I had taken of the scratches. My pulse stuttered. The images looked different. The words blurred, distorted, as though the letters had melted. Only one phrase remained clear, sharper than before. "He mimics." I shoved the phone back into my pocket, throat dry, and forced myself to keep driving. Hours later, when the sun sagged low and painted the sky bruised purple, I passed another sign. Motel 6, Barstow, California. The arrow pointed to the exit. My chest tightened. I swore I wouldn't stop again, swore I'd sleep in my car if I had to. But exhaustion betrayed me. My eyelids grew heavy, the road doubled and blurred. The motel rose from the edge of the desert like a wound, tall, flat, rows of identical doors and windows, all glowing with the same dull light. The lot was nearly empty. I pulled in, telling myself I could manage a few hours of sleep. The clerk was a young man with hollow cheeks and eyes that never quite met mine. His smile was mechanical, his words too quick. One night, room 214, elevator's broken, you'll have to take the stairs. I climbed to the second floor, the stairwell reeking faintly of urine and bleach. Room 214's door stuck before opening, the handle loose. Inside, the room was cleaner than the desert inn, but the air was thick with the same weight. I sat on the bed, phone in hand, when I heard it. A voice, at first faint, muffled through the wall. A man and a woman arguing, her voice sharp, his low and angry. Furniture scraped, a thud, heavy, final. Then silence. I froze, knife already in my hand, pressed my ear to the wall. Nothing. Then, suddenly, the woman's voice again, clearer, louder. A scream. I bolted to the phone on the nightstand, dialed the front desk. Room 213, I hissed. There's a fight, a woman screaming. The clerk's voice came back, flat. Room 213 is empty. My blood iced. No, I heard. It's empty, he repeated, sharper now. Go back to sleep. I dropped the phone, breath ragged. My hand shook so hard the knife rattled against the nightstand. I turned slowly toward the mirror above the desk and froze. In the glass, behind my reflection, stood a man, tall, thin, his head tilted at an unnatural angle, eyes wide and unblinking. He leaned close, his lips brushing my ear, but only in the reflection, and my own voice whispered back at me, "Stay." I spun around so fast I nearly lost my balance, knife raised high. The room was empty. Only the stale carpet, the sagging bed, the hum of the old air conditioner. My reflection stared back at me from the mirror. Just me, pale and shaking, knife trembling in my fist. But as I lowered the blade, the reflection didn't follow. It stayed frozen, lips curling slowly, unnaturally wide. The smile stretched until it split the cheeks, until smoke poured from the mouth in thin, black ribbons. My own face staring back, wrong, wrong, wrong. I grabbed the Bible from the drawer and hurled it at the mirror. The glass cracked, splintering my reflection into dozens of fractured smiles. For a heartbeat, I thought I had broken it, that the nightmare would stop. And then, from every shard, a voice bled out. My voice, just passing through, just passing through, just passing through. The sound layered, multiplied, filled the room until I dropped to my knees and clamped my hands over my ears. But even then it wormed through my skull, vibrating in my bones. The knocking came next. 3 quick, pause, 2 slow. From the door, from the walls, from beneath the bed, I scrambled to my feet, dragged my bag toward me, fumbling with the zipper. My phone buzzed, screen lighting up though I hadn't touched it. A new message. No number, just words. He knows your voice now. My throat closed. I staggered back, slammed into the wall. The hole gaped beside my head. I hadn't seen it when I entered, hadn't noticed the wallpaper peeling. But now it was there, open wide, black and endless. And from it came an eye, bloodshot, familiar, my own. I screamed, bolted for the door, wrenching it open. The hallway stretched long and distorted, lights flickering. Every door was open now, shadows swaying inside each room. Whispers slithered from them. Voices layered, mine, the clerk's, the woman's, all repeating the same single word. Stay. I stumbled down the stairs, bursting into the parking lot. My car was waiting. I didn't look at the office, didn't look at the neon sign buzzing overhead. I threw myself into the driver's seat, jammed the key into the ignition, and peeled onto the road, gravel spitting under the tires. For miles I drove, knuckles white on the wheel, breath tearing in and out. The desert swallowed the motel behind me, the horizon opening into black. And then, from the back seat, my voice whispered, just passing through. The desert highway stretched before me, black and endless, a wound in the earth that never seemed to close. My headlights carved a narrow tunnel through the dark, but the night pressed in on either side, heavy, suffocating. My hands clutched the wheel until my knuckles ached, my eyes darting to the rear view even though I knew I shouldn't. The back seat was empty. Of course it was empty, but every time I blinked, I half expected to see a shape slouched there, my own face leaning forward with that same wrong smile. Each mile deepened the paranoia until the road itself began to blur, its lines swimming like veins beneath cracked skin. By the time I reached the outskirts of Barstow, exhaustion had hollowed me out. Gas stations glowed like lonely sentinels. The occasional truck thundered past, its lights glaring, then dissolved into black again. I told myself I'd sleep in the car, but the weight of the night pressed too hard. The whisper, my whisper, still crawled through the silence, surfacing in the hum of the tires, in the rasp of the wind against the windows. That was when I saw it. A tall building rising at the edge of the freeway, its sign flickering weakly. Motel 6, the kind of place designed to look safe, corporate, predictable. Rows of identical doors stacked in 2 stories, a parking lot mostly empty, fluorescent lights buzzing in patches. I pulled in, gravel crunching beneath the tires, engine ticking as it cooled. For a long moment, I sat there, key in my lap, listening. The whisper had stopped, but silence could be worse. Silence meant it was waiting. The lobby smelled faintly of bleach. The clerk was young, his hair slicked back, his smile stretched too tight. "One night?" he asked, though it wasn't a question. His eyes never reached mine, fixed instead on something over my shoulder. When I glanced back, nothing was there. He handed me a key card. "Room 214, elevator's broken. Stairs are on your left." I climbed, the stairwell echoing each footstep as though someone followed half a beat behind. At the second floor landing, the hallway stretched longer than it should have, doors repeating in endless rhythm. My card slid into the lock. The door clicked open. The room was plain, sterile. Beige carpet, thin curtains, a bedspread patterned with geometric shapes that reminded me of coffins. I dropped my bag, locked the door, bolted it for good measure. For a while, I sat on the bed, letting the TV chatter just to fill the air. But silence always finds cracks. Somewhere past midnight, the voices began, at first muffled, like a television in another room. Then sharper, a man and a woman, arguing, her voice strained, his a low growl. Furniture scraped, a thud followed. Then silence. I froze, leaning toward the wall. My breath fogged the air, and then the scream came, a woman's scream, ragged and sudden, ripped through plaster and bone straight into my chest. I grabbed the phone and dialed the front desk, words tumbling out. Room 213. Someone's hurt. Someone's screaming." The clerk's voice cut me off, flat. "Room 2113 is empty." "No," I said. "I heard." "Empty," he repeated, sharper now. "Go back to sleep." The line went dead. My hand shook so badly I almost dropped the receiver. I turned slowly toward the mirror above the desk and froze. In the reflection behind my shoulder stood a man, tall, thin, his head tilted at an unnatural angle, eyes wide, unblinking. He leaned close, lips brushing my ear, but only in the glass, and in my own voice, warped and cruel, he whispered, "Stay." I jerked around so violently the chair toppled, knife already in my fist. The room was empty, only the flicker of the television, low and meaningless, and the steady hum of the air conditioner. My reflection stared back at me from the mirror, just me, wide-eyed, trembling. But then the reflection smiled. My lips hadn't moved. My face hadn't changed. Yet in the glass, my reflection leaned closer, its grin stretching too wide, eyes sinking into pits of shadow. Smoke curled from its mouth. I hurled the remote at the mirror. Glass splintered, cracks webbing across the surface. For a heartbeat, the reflection fractured into a dozen wrong smiles. Then the voices began, all of them mine, just passing through, just passing through, just passing through, over and over, overlapping, layered in pitch and rhythm until the walls quivered with the sound. I clamped my hands over my ears, but it pressed in through bone, vibrating my teeth. The knock followed, 3 quick, pause. 2 slow, not from the door, from under the bed. The noise rattled the frame, sharp and deliberate. My heart nearly tore itself from my chest. I lunged forward, ripped the blanket away, crouched to look. 2 eyes stared back, bloodshot, familiar, my own. I screamed and staggered back, slashing with the knife. The bed sagged, the carpet smoked. When I looked again, nothing was there, just darkness, dust, silence. I couldn't stay. Every instinct shrieked at me to run. I grabbed my bag, fumbled with the lock, shoved the door open. The hallway yawned long and empty, its fluorescent lights buzzing faintly. I sprinted toward the stairs, footsteps echoing too loud, too many. Halfway down, I heard it, someone descending with me, but heavier, slower. I risked a glance. No one was there. I bolted through the lobby, out into the parking lot. My car waited where I'd left it, headlights reflecting dull off cracked asphalt. But the lot wasn't empty anymore. Every room door on the first floor hung wide open. Curtains swayed through the air was still. In each darkened frame, a figure stood. Not strangers, not guests, me. Dozens of me, each one grinning wide, their voices layered into a chorus. Stay, stay, stay. My scream ripped through the night as I stumbled into my car, slamming the door, fumbling the keys with shaking hands. I jammed them into the ignition, the engine coughing before roaring to life. In the rearview mirror, one of the figures leaned closer. My own face filled the glass, smiling, smoke curling from its lips, and my voice whispered, "You'll never leave." I tore out of the lot, tires shrieking against asphalt, gravel spitting into the dark. The motel shrank behind me, its rows of open doors glowing faint, each doorway filled with grinning shadows of myself. I couldn't look away from the mirror, even though I knew better, even though dread coiled in my gut. For a while, the road gave me silence. Just the hum of the engine, the tires' thudding rhythm against the cracked highway. My chest heaved, every muscle taut as wire. I gripped the wheel so hard my fingers cramped. Then the radio clicked on. I hadn't touched it. Static filled the car, soft at first, then sharper, louder. Beneath the hiss, my voice threaded through, not speaking, laughing. It was the same laugh I'd heard in my dreams, jagged, broken, too much breath behind it. My stomach turned. I slammed the dial, but the knob spun useless under my fingers, refusing to change stations or kill the sound. The laughter grew until it filled the car, and then buried under it, words. My voice again, room 214. Don't knock back. My blood went cold. The exact scratches I'd seen at Desert Inn, spoken now from my own mouth through static. I wrenched the wheel, nearly sending the car into the ditch. The tires screamed, rubber burning before I corrected and forced myself to breathe. I punched the radio. The plastic cracked, sparks hissed. The sound died, but the laughter continued, not from the speakers, from the back seat. I refused to look. My eyes burned from staring at the road, but I would not look. The laughter swelled, bouncing off the glass, worming into my skull. My throat closed, my breath ragged. And then it stopped. In its place came the whistle, 3 low notes, tuneless, drifting through the car like smoke. I screamed, swerving again, tears blurring my vision. The whistle echoed, fading, then rising again, patient as breath. When the first glow of dawn bled over the horizon, I pulled into a rest stop, tires crunching on gravel. I killed the engine, silence thundering. My body shook so badly I could barely open the door. The air outside was frigid but clean. I leaned against the hood, sucking in breaths, watching the sun edge up over the desert. For a moment, I let myself believe the night was over, that I had outrun him. Then I saw the vending machine by the restrooms. Its glass was scratched, deep grooves cut into the surface. I stepped closer, heart thudding, already knowing what I'd find. 3 quick lines. Pause. Too slow, the same rhythm, etched there, waiting. I staggered back from the vending machine, throat dry, the scratches burning into my vision. The morning sun was climbing, but the lot was empty, too empty. Not even a bird moved across the pale sky. My hands shook so badly I dropped the knife when I reached for it. The blade clattered against the pavement, echoing far louder than it should have. The restroom door creaked, slowly, deliberately. I froze. My shadow stretched long on the asphalt, trembling with me. The door opened wider, and for a heartbeat, I thought someone would step out. Instead, the whistle came, low, tuneless, patient. I lunged for the knife, snatched it up, and stumbled back into the car. The door slammed, locks clicking. My chest heaved as I twisted the key in the ignition. The engine roared, but faintly beneath it, I heard a whisper from the passenger seat, just passing through. I whipped my head. The seat was empty. Of course it was empty, but the indentation was there, as though someone sat heavy in the cushion. The smell of tobacco smoke clung to the air. I tore out of the rest stop, tires spitting gravel, the vending machine shrinking in the mirror. The whistle followed me, woven into the hum of the tires, into the very air of the car. Mile after mile passed, yet the road didn't change. Gas stations, diners, the same cracked billboards, all repeating, looping like a film stuck on replay. My chest grew tighter. The world wasn't letting me leave. By the time the sun dipped low again, exhaustion pulled me toward another town, another motel crouched at the edge of the freeway, its sign buzzing faint. Sunset Inn. I told myself I wouldn't stop, that I'd keep driving until I collapsed. But the car shuddered beneath me, gas gauge sinking to empty. I had no choice. The office smelled of dust and mildew. The clerk, a man with hollow eyes and a trembling smile, slid a key across the counter. His voice was soft, almost kind. Room 5, you'll be safe there. Safe. The word twisted in my gut. Room 5 waited halfway down the row. I slid the key in, pushed the door open. The air inside was damp, the carpet spongy underfoot. On the bed lay a Bible, open to blank pages, and scrawled into the bathroom mirror, letters jagged and wet, were the words I'd begun to dread. You brought him with you. The knock followed. 3 quick. Pause. 2 slow. From inside the closet. The knock from inside the closet rattled through the damp room, sharp and deliberate, each thud sinking into my chest like a fist. 3 quick. Pause. 2 slow. The rhythm that had followed me from the first motel, carved into vending machines, whispered through static, scratched into glass. I stood frozen, knife slick in my grip, every breath shaking. The closet door shivered with each knock, as though something inside pressed against it, patient, insistent. The bulb overhead buzzed and dimmed. I edged closer, my shoes squelching against the wet carpet. Each step made the knocking pause. Like whoever, whatever, waited inside was listening. My hand hovered over the handle. Then silence. The quiet pressed harder than the sound, heavy, suffocating. My ears rang with it. I clenched my teeth, yanked the door open. Nothing. Just shadows and my own bag slumped in the corner. The air smelled faintly metallic, like rust or blood. My chest ached with every breath. I turned back toward the room and froze. The bathroom light flickered on by itself. The mirror glared pale, words scrawled fresh across the glass as if written by a finger dipped in condensation. He's already here. My throat closed. I backed away until my spine hit the closet frame. The words dripped slowly, the letters sagging, running down the glass like they were bleeding. And then I saw the reflection, not me. A man stood in the doorway behind me, tall and thin, head tilted at an unnatural angle. His eyes were pits, his grin wide, rope coiled in his hand, trailing across the tiles. I spun around, knife raised, but the doorway was empty. When I looked back at the mirror, the reflection was gone too. But the rope was still there. It lay across the bathroom floor, coiled neatly, the fibers damp and dark. My chest heaved. I staggered forward, reached out with trembling fingers, and the rope twitched. I screamed and slashed at it. The blade cut through air. The rope dissolved into smoke, curling upward until it vanished into the buzzing light. The knock returned, not from the closet this time, from under the bed. 3 quick. Pause. 2 slow. The knock from beneath the bed was louder this time, the floorboards vibrating under my feet. I crept forward, every muscle screaming against the pull of dread. My breath fogged the air as I crouched, knife outstretched, and lifted the bedspread. 2 eyes stared back at me. They were mine, bloodshot, unblinking, shining in the dark like coins at the bottom of a well. A mouth followed, curling into a grin too wide for the face it wore. My own voice slithered out, warped, guttural. You're not passing through anymore. I lurched backward, slashing wildly. The knife sliced fabric, gouged carpet, but the eyes dissolved into smoke. The grin lingered a heartbeat longer, then melted into shadow. I stumbled toward the door, fumbling with the bolt, when the TV screeched to life. The screen glowed white, static filling the room. Lines of text crawled across it, jagged and broken, as though carved into the glass from the inside. Stay. The sound twisted, static layering into voices. Dozens, hundreds, each one mine. Laughter, screams, whispers, all folding over one another until I dropped the knife to cover my ears. But the voices didn't stop. They came from the walls, from the floor, from the inside of my skull. I bolted from the room, leaving the knife behind, and tore into the hallway. Doors lined each side, identical, curtains drawn tight. But as I stumbled forward, they opened one by one. Behind every door was me, dozens of me standing in shadows, grinning wide. Their mouths moved in perfect unison, my voice echoing from every throat. Stay, stay, stay. The hallway stretched longer, each step doubling the distance. I screamed, slammed into a door at random, and shoved it open. I was back in room 5, the damp carpet, the cracked mirror, the rope coiled on the tiles. I staggered, throat raw, chest heaving. My knees buckled. I pressed my palms to my face, but when I looked again, my hands weren't mine. Rope burns ringed the wrists, skin pale and slick. The knock came again, not from under the bed, not from the closet, from inside my chest. 3 quick, pause, 2 slow. My body convulsed with the rhythm. Each thud rattled my ribs, my breath catching. I fell to the floor, clawing at myself, desperate to tear it out. And then, in the silence that followed, I heard his voice. Not mine this time, his. The low rasp of the man who owned the rope. You can't run forever. The rasp lingered in the room long after the words had died, threading through the silence like smoke. I staggered upright, pressing my back against the peeling wallpaper, eyes darting to every corner. The rope was gone. The mirror was blank. The TV was dark. Yet his presence pressed against me as surely as if he stood inches from my face. I stumbled to the window, yanked the curtains wide. The parking lot below should have offered relief, but what I saw froze the breath in my lungs. Every car was gone. The asphalt stretched empty, a desert of cracked lines and buzzing lamps, and in the center of that emptiness, a single figure stood. He was too far away for me to see his face, but I didn't need to. The way he tilted his head, the way the rope dangled loose from his hand was enough. He raised his arm slowly, deliberately, and beckoned. My legs locked. My hands clawed the sill. My heart pounded so hard I thought it would crack my ribs. I blinked, and he was gone. But the knock followed. This time from the door, 3 quick, pause, 2 slow. The sound was steady, patient. It didn't demand, it invited. I backed away, tripping over the chair, landing hard on the carpet. My pulse roared in my ears. Another knock and another. Finally, I forced myself up, knife back in my grip, and screamed, "What do you want?" Silence. Then my own voice answered from the other side of the door, low, crooked. "You!" I staggered back, bile burning my throat. The knob twisted, metal groaning. I lunged forward and slammed the bolt tight, pressing my shoulder against the wood. The pressure on the other side was light, almost playful, as though he knew I couldn't hold it forever. I don't know how long I stood there, braced against the door, whispering prayers I hadn't spoken in years. The pressure eased eventually, the knob stilling. The silence that followed was worse. When I turned, the closet door was open again, and inside, instead of darkness, I saw another hallway stretching deep into black, longer than the motel could possibly hold, lined with doors on each side, each one numbered 12. My legs carried me forward before I could stop them. Each step sank into damp carpet. The air was heavy with tobacco smoke. I passed door after door, the numbers repeating like a curse. From behind each, whispers bled. My own voice, some pleading, some screaming, some laughing until their throats broke. At the far end of the hall, a final door waited, its number carved deeper than the rest. 12. the wood around the numerals gouged by nails, as if someone had tried to claw their way out. The knob turned by itself. The knob rattled once, then stilled. My throat locked, my hands slick with sweat around the knife. I wanted to turn back, but the hallway behind me was gone. Where I expected walls and doors, there was only black. The motel had swallowed every exit. The door creaked open. A breath of air drifted out, hot and wet, smelling of mildew and smoke. Inside was a room I knew too well. Sagging bed, yellowed tiles, the nightstand scarred by old burns. Room 12. Again. I stepped across the threshold and the door slammed shut behind me. The hole in the wall waited, wider now, gaping like a wound. I forced myself to look, knowing I shouldn't. An eye stared back, my own. The lips that followed were mine too, curling slow into a smile. My own voice slid out of the hole, thick and broken. "You're already here." I stumbled back, shaking my head. No. The mirror above the desk flickered to life. Not glass, but water, dark and rippling. Shapes moved beneath its surface, pale hands pressed against the other side. Mouths opening and closing without sound. Among them, I saw myself, dozens of me, each face twisted, each throat wrapped in rope. The light overhead buzzed, then died. Darkness swallowed the room, and in that dark, the rope brushed my ankle. I screamed, slashing the knife downward, but it cut through smoke. The rope coiled tighter, dragging, pulling me toward the hole in the wall. My nails clawed the carpet, tearing fibers, leaving blood. My reflection in the water mirror grinned wider, mouthing the word I had heard too many times. "Stay!" I howled, forcing the blade against the rope at my leg. The steel seared with heat, but the fibers split. Smoke bursting upward. The grip loosened. I crawled, gasping, toward the door. My hands fumbled the knob, twisted, and it opened. I fell into the night air. The parking lot stretched before me, buzzing with broken lamps. Every room door was open again. Shadows filled each frame, all of them me. Dozens of mouths moving in perfect rhythm, chanting in whispers that slid into my bones. "Stay, stay, stay." I staggered toward my car, knife still clenched, heart slamming so loud it drowned everything else. I collapsed into the seat, jammed the keys into the ignition. The engine roared, headlights flared across the motel. In that light, the figure stood, rope dangling, cigarette ember glowing faint red, his smile thin and cruel. The whistle began again, and this time it came from my own throat. The whistle clawed up my throat without my permission. Each note vibrated in my chest, rattled through my teeth, spilled from my lips in the same tuneless rhythm that had stalked me since the first night. I slammed the wheel with both hands, screaming, forcing sound over the whistle, but my voice broke, thin and powerless. The road swallowed my headlights, blacktop unspooled endlessly, flanked by desert that seemed to lean closer with every mile. I pressed harder on the gas, my eyes burning from lack of sleep, my knuckles white. Yet no matter how fast I drove, the motel never seemed to shrink in the mirror. Its crooked neon still glowed, faint and broken, as if it clung to me, tethered by something I couldn't cut. Hours passed, or minutes. Time no longer mattered. The whistle died eventually, leaving silence so thick I wanted to claw it apart. I tried the radio just to fill the void, but static screamed back at me, rising instantly into laughter. My laughter, layered and jagged. I killed the power, but the sound didn't stop. It came from the glove box. My hand shook as I reached across and yanked it open. A phone tumbled out. not mine. Its screen flickered to life, cracked and smeared with something dark. A message glowed on it in letters too sharp, too deep. You checked in. You can't check out. I hurled it to the passenger floor, heart slamming. My own phone buzzed in my pocket a second later. I fumbled it out with numb fingers. The lock screen had changed. My face filled it, grinning wide, eyes hollow, rope burns carved into the skin of my neck. The car swerved as I dropped the phone. I screamed, jerking the wheel, tires screeching on asphalt. The desert blurred, shadows lunging across the headlights. For a heartbeat, I thought I saw figures lining the road. Dozens of me, each one swaying, mouths moving in silent unison. I blinked and they were gone. The fuel light came on, a sick orange glow. I had no idea how long I'd been driving. The tank was nearly dry. My breath quickened. I scanned the horizon, desperate, and almost sobbed when I saw it. Another sign, buzzing faint. Silver Moon Motel. The exit loomed, sharp against the dark. My chest ached with terror, with exhaustion, with the certainty that I should keep going. But the car shuddered, coughed. I had no choice. The motel crouched low, windows dark, office light burning sickly yellow. The lot was empty. I pulled in, killed the engine. The silence outside pressed against the windows. I stepped out, knife in my hand, the air thick with the smell of dust and old tobacco. The office door creaked as I pushed it open. The bell jingled once, then fell silent. Behind the counter sat a man I didn't recognize, or maybe I did. His face sagged, eyes ringed with shadow, skin slick with sweat. His lips curled into a thin smile. "Welcome back," he rasped. My stomach lurched. "I've never been here before," I managed, voice cracking. The man's grin widened. His teeth were gray, uneven. "Of course you have. You always come back." He slid a key across the counter, brass, tarnished, heavy. The number carved into it made my chest seize. 12. I staggered backward, shaking my head. "No, not that room, not again." The clerk's eyes lifted at last, and I wish they hadn't. They were mine, clouded, bloodshot, ringed with rope burns that bled into his temples. He leaned forward, whispering in my voice, "You already checked in." The key clinked against the counter. I bolted from the office, stumbling into the parking lot. My car sat where I left it, but the windows were fogged, like someone had been breathing inside. My hand hovered at the handle. A shadow moved across the glass, grinning. I ran. The stairs at the far end of the lot led to the second floor. I took them 2 at a time, heart hammering, until I reached the landing. Every door bore the number 12. Brass fobs gleamed in each lock. My breath rasped, shallow, broken. Behind one door, a knock sounded. 3 quick. Pause. 2 slow. I pressed myself against the wall, knife tight in my grip, chest heaving. The knocks spread, rippling down the row, each door answering the last until the entire hall throbbed with the rhythm. 3 quick. Pause. 2 slow. I clamped my hands over my ears, but it vibrated through the floor, the railing, my own bones. My knees buckled. The knife clattered against the concrete. Then silence. The nearest door eased open. The room inside was black, but not empty. My own silhouette stood there, head tilted, eyes burning faint. A rope dangled from its hand, trailing across the carpet like a vein. "Stay," it whispered. My voice again. I screamed and ran, bolting back down the stairs, shoes slapping the concrete, lungs tearing with every breath. I crashed through the lot, past my car, into the desert beyond. Sand shifted beneath my feet, thorns tearing my legs. The motel lights buzzed behind me, shrinking, but the whispers didn't fade. They swelled, curling around me in the dark, voices layered and endless, each one mine. Stay, stay, stay. The desert swallowed me whole. My lungs burned with every stride, the sand shifting treacherously beneath my shoes. Thorns snagged my jeans, tore through skin, drew lines of fire across my shins. Still I ran, though my body screamed. The motel's glow dwindled behind me until it was nothing but a faint, trembling ember on the horizon. The silence should have been a relief, but silence never lasts. First came the breathing, not mine, heavy, ragged, dragging across the night like a saw against wet wood. It seemed to move around me, first to my left, then ahead, then behind, as though the desert itself exhaled. Then the whistle, 3 notes, low and tuneless, bleeding from the dark. The sound vibrated in my chest, synchronized with my heartbeat until I couldn't tell which was which. My throat constricted. Every instinct told me to run faster, but my legs were lead. I stumbled into a dry creek bed, the sand cooler beneath my palms as I crawled to catch my breath. The sky overhead split with stars, pale and endless. For a moment, I thought I was safe. Then I saw the footprints, not mine. A second set followed along the bank, larger, deeper. They trailed behind me for as far as I could see, each pressed perfectly into the earth. I spun, knife raised, but no one was there, only shifting shadows and the whisper of sand. The footprints didn't stop where I stood. They continued past me, ahead, leading me forward. I followed them because I had no choice. My throat burned, my chest convulsed with every ragged breath. But I stumbled on. The prints wound through scrub, up a low rise, and ended at the mouth of a cave. The entrance yawned black, breathless. Stone teeth jutted from its rim, sharp and cruel. A cold wind exhaled from within, carrying the smell of damp rope and tobacco smoke. I pressed my back to the rock, shaking. My mind screamed to turn back, to run into the desert, to take my chances with the empty road. But something in the dark called me. Not a voice, not sound at all, but a pull deep in my bones, like the tide dragging at a drowned body. I stepped inside. The air was colder, heavier. My footsteps echoed, though I tried to move silently. The walls were carved, not natural, lined with scratches. At first random, then forming words, repeating endlessly. Room 12. Stay, don't knock back. My stomach twisted. I staggered deeper until the tunnel opened into a chamber. At its center hung ropes, dozens of them swaying though there was no wind. Some ended in knots, some in frayed ends. From each dangled a shape, pale, motionless, bodies. I pressed a hand to my mouth, bile rising. Their faces were hidden in shadow, but their hands twitched, fingers curling weakly like they were still alive. One lifted its head. My face stared back at me, rope burns carved deep into the neck, lips moving silently, forming a single word, stay. I stumbled back until my shoulders slammed against cold stone. The chamber seemed to pulse with a word forming on every hanging mouth. Stay, stay, stay. The ropes creaked, swaying as if stirred by a wind that touched nothing else. My own face stared down from everybody, eyes sunken, lips split by a grin too wide. One of them twitched violently, rope fibers snapping. It dropped to the floor with a wet thud. My knees buckled. The body pushed itself upright, head lolling, rope still wrapped around its throat. It walked toward me on broken legs, each step dragging. I raised the knife, screaming until my throat tore. The figure stopped inches away, my own face peeling into a grin. Smoke leaked from its eyes, its mouth. It lifted a trembling hand and pressed one finger to my lips. In my own ruined voice, it whispered, "Shh, he's coming." The chamber went black. The whistle filled the void, low, patient. The ropes above shuddered, bodies jerking violently, dozens of me twisting and swinging in silence. The sound grew until it split my skull, until blood leaked from my nose. I clutched my head and screamed, but the sound was swallowed, smothered. Light returned in a flicker. The chamber was gone. I stood in a motel room again. Not 12, not 5, not any number I recognized. The wallpaper sagged yellow. The bedspread was stained. The hole in the wall gaped wide. I staggered toward it, knife trembling in my grip. An eye blinked open inside. My eye. My voice slid through the plaster, calm, certain. "You can't run. You never left. You never will." The rope fell from the ceiling, coils slapping the carpet. It slithered toward my feet, fibers writhing like veins. I hacked at it, blade flashing, but each cut only birthed more strands, wrapping my ankles, my wrists, my throat. As the fibers tightened, dragging me down, the door burst open. The clerk from the Silver Moon stood in the frame, smile thin, eyes hollow. Behind him, the desert night stretched endless. He raised a hand in mock blessing and rasped, "Your room is ready." The rope snapped tight. The light died, and I woke in my car, parked outside the same motel, neon buzzing overhead. "Des in." The sign flickered. My breath came fast, shallow, fogging the glass. The brass key lay in my lap, number 12. The key sat heavy in my lap, brass cold enough to burn. I stared at the number etched into it, 12, until the digits blurred. My breath fogged the windshield, hands trembling on the steering wheel. I told myself it wasn't real, that I had dreamed the rope, the clerk, the chamber of bodies. But the metal bit into my palm when I closed my fist. The weight was undeniable. The neon outside buzzed, stuttering in the black. Des in. The broken glow pulsed like a heartbeat. I forced the ignition. The engine coughed to life, headlights sweeping across the cracked lot. For an instant, the beams caught movement. Shadows shifted in every doorway, dozens of figures standing still, grinning wide. Each one was me. I threw the car into gear, tires screeching as I tore back onto the highway. The sign receded in the mirror but didn't vanish. Mile after mile, it clung to me, faint and pulsing, as though the road bent itself to keep me near. Hours bled away. The desert blurred, monotone, endless. My eyelids sagged heavy, but every time I drifted, the whistle pierced the quiet. 3 notes, low, tuneless. My throat tightened. Sometimes it came from outside, sometimes from the vents, sometimes curling from my own lips without permission. I slammed the radio on just to drown it. Static hissed, and then words emerged. Not random, not broadcast. A voice, my voice. "Room 12, it whispered. "Check in." I punched the dial, but the voice grew louder, more insistent, filling the car. "Check in, check in." I ripped the radio wires free, sparks flying. Silence followed. But in the corner of the windshield, condensation scrawled itself in jagged lines. "Check in." My chest convulsed. I swiped at it, but the letters smeared into new words. "He's waiting." The headlights flickered. The road dissolved into black, no markings, no horizon. I slowed, heart racing, and realized I was no longer alone. Shapes loomed at the edge of the beams, tall and swaying. Rope dangled from each of their necks. Dozens of bodies lining the road, all with my face, their lips mouthing a single word: stay. I swerved, tires skidding. The shapes vanished, swallowed by the dark. But when I blinked, the car wasn't moving anymore. The engine idled, fuel gauge steady, and outside my window stood the clerk, the same hollow eyes, the same thin smile. His mouth moved, but no sound reached me. Instead, my phone buzzed, a notification. I lifted it with trembling hands, a new voicemail. No number. I pressed play. The sound was my own voice, breathing heavy, whispering. I'm already here. The phone slipped from my hand and clattered against the console. The voicemail kept playing even without the screen lit, my own voice looping, whispering faster, overlapping itself until it became a chant. I'm already here. I'm already here. The words burrowed under my skin, sank into my teeth, rattled my bones. I slammed the door open and stumbled into the night. The desert air cut sharp, cold enough to bite, but it wasn't clean. It carried the sour tang of tobacco smoke, thick as if someone had exhaled right against my mouth. The lot was gone. No asphalt, no neon, only sand stretching endless under a bruised sky. My car stood stranded, its headlights glaring against nothing, and a trail of footprints led away from it, mine, deep and frantic. But I hadn't taken them. I forced my body to follow, each step a battle against the weight pressing down. The footprints wound through brush and thorn until they ended at another door. Just a door, standing upright in the desert, frame warped and splintered, brass knob glinting faint. The number nailed crooked at its center made my chest seize. 12. My hands shook as I reached for the knob. The metal was ice, searing my skin. I twisted, pushed, and the desert fell away. I stood in a hallway, familiar, endless, lined with identical doors, each one stamped with a 12. The carpet sagged with damp, smelling of mildew and smoke. Light flickered above, buzzing, throwing shadows that shifted on their own. I staggered forward. Every door whispered as I passed, my own voice bleeding through the wood. Some begged, some laughed, some screamed until their throats tore. My name echoed in a dozen variations, each syllable wrong. At the end of the hall, a single door waited, larger, darker, its number gouged so deep, the brass plate bent outward. Scratches covered the frame like claw marks. The knob turned by itself. I tried to back away, but the carpet clung to my shoes, fibers tightening like hands around my ankles. My throat locked as the door eased open. Inside was a room I knew too well. The sagging bed, the yellow tiles, the hole in the wall. Room 12. But this time, the bed wasn't empty. A figure lay on it, arms spread, wrists bound in coils of rope. Its head lolled to one side, eyes half open, lips moving silently. It was me, my chest convulsed, breath ragged. The bound version of myself blinked once, slow, then whispered through cracked lips. He's almost done with you. The bound version of me twitched against the ropes, wrists bleeding where the fibers bit into flesh. My throat tightened until I could barely breathe. I stumbled closer, knife shaking in my hand, though I didn't know if I meant to cut him free or finish him. His lips moved again, the whisper scraping out with my own ruined cadence. Don't let him take the voice. The bulb above the bed flickered, then burst. Darkness swallowed the room. I lunged back, knife raised, but light seeped through the hole in the wall, pale and sickly, as if another world glowed beyond. Shadows writhed across the plaster. A hand slid through, long, veined, nails black and cracked. It groped blindly until it brushed the ropes binding the other me. The fibers writhed, tightening like living things, dragging him closer to the hole. He screamed, my scream, raw and jagged, the sound tearing out of both throats at once. The ropes burned bright, smoke curling. The hand on the other side of the wall clawed deeper, fingers splitting plaster, widening the hole. I slashed at the rope with my knife. The blade struck sparks, steel shrieking against fibers harder than stone. Pain jolted my arm, but I swung again and again until the bonds frayed. The other me gasped, blood running down his arms and his eyes locked on mine. Run, he whispered. The wall split open. The figure stepped through, tall, gaunt, rope coiled in one hand, cigarette ember glowing in the other. His eyes burned like coals. Smoke poured from his mouth with every breath. The hunter, the clerk, the shadow that had followed me through every door. He smiled, teeth gray, lips cracking. You've made it far, he rasped. His voice was my voice. His grin was my grin. He tilted his head, rope trailing across the carpet. But you know how this ends. The other me thrashed, screaming, don't listen, don't look. The rope lashed out, coiling around his throat. With a single tug, the figure dragged him screaming into the hole. The sound cut off like a switch. Silence fell, heavy, final. Then the hunter turned to me. The rope slithered across the carpet like a living vein, wrapping around my ankles. Smoke filled the room, choking, bitter. His grin widened, splitting his face until it nearly tore. And in my own voice, calm and certain, he whispered, it's time to stay. The rope burned cold as it tightened around my ankles, dragging me toward the widening hole in the wall. Smoke billowed out, filling the room until I could barely see the bed, the cracked tiles, my own hands clawing the carpet. My knife slipped from my grip, vanishing into the haze. I kicked, screamed, tore at the fibers with bleeding nails, but they only tightened, each strand pulsing like it carried blood of its own. My body slid inch by inch across the floor, the edges of the hole glowing pale as if lit from some sickly world beyond. The hunter crouched low, rope coiled in one hand, his grin splitting wider, smoke curling from his lips. He leaned close, so close I felt the heat of his ember breath searing my cheek. In my own voice, smooth and cruel, he whispered, every road leads here. I thrashed, chest convulsing, lungs clawing for air. The rope dragged me halfway through the wall. The plaster shredded my arms, blood streaking white dust. Beyond the threshold, I saw corridors spiraling into infinity, lined with doors. Every single one bore the number 12. From behind them, my own voice whispered, screamed, laughed, cried, 1,000 versions of me all trapped, all waiting. No, I roared, forcing sound through a throat raw with smoke. I drove my fingers into the rope, ignoring the burn as fibers split flesh. With one last surge, I ripped, the strands snapping, smoke bursting outward in a howl. I collapsed onto the carpet, coughing blood, vision swimming. The hunter reeled back, his ember eyes flaring. For the first time, the smile faltered. I seized the chance. My hand found the knife in the haze, blade hot, handle slick with sweat. I lunged forward, slashing across his chest. Smoke tore open like a wound. Spilling into the room, he staggered, rope falling limp from his hand. The chamber shook, light flickered. The hole in the wall pulsed, narrowing, then collapsing in on itself with a scream. The smoke howled, rushing back into the dark beyond. When the silence fell, the room was empty. I lay there gasping, knife still clutched, blood streaking my arms. The rope was gone. The mirror was blank. Only the faint hum of the air conditioner remained, as if nothing had happened at all. Slowly, I staggered to my feet, shoved my bag over my shoulder, and fled. The hallway outside was still, every door closed. The stairwell echoed with my footsteps. No others following. The parking lot yawned empty under buzzing lamps. My car waited, engine cold, windshield clear. For once, no shadows stood in the doorways. No whispers bled from the rooms. I drove until the motel lights shrank to nothing. Dawn crept over the horizon. The desert glowed pale gold, clean and silent. For the first time in days, maybe weeks, I felt the weight lift. My throat ached, but no whistle followed. The mirror showed only me, hollow-eyed but alive. I laughed then, broken and raw, but real. The road stretched open before me, endless but free. And yet, when I reached into my pocket for the map, my fingers brushed cold metal. The brass key, number 12.